Today on Public Eye News, the details on NMU's latest on-campus exhibit, and Michigan joins the lawsuit against the border wall.
Adam Diaz will have our weather forecast, and later Grant will be back to give us the latest on NMU sports.
Steve. And I'm Grant Lukens, and this is Public Eye News. Northern Michigan University has opened up a new exhibit on campus. It's called From Chalk to Lightboards, Technology at NMU. The exhibit shows how technology at the campus and as a whole has changed through a unique collection of old and new technology. The collection began many years ago when new computers and cell phones made the current technology obsolete. The exhibit is free to the public and students at NMU's UP Heritage Center. And UP Health System Marquette will be holding a career fair on the 23rd. UP Health System plans on hiring people who attend the job fair. They're looking to fill clinical positions such as RNs, LPNs, care aides, medical assistants, and more. Soon-to-be graduates, grad students, and anyone else with experience is welcome to come and talk to the staff about applying. The fair is Saturday, February 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the West Library near the Emergency Department.
Yesterday, a small crowd gathered at the Gogebic Community College to join senators downstate for a presentation by the State Auditor General. The community continues to argue that the State Department of Corrections did not consider the economic impact of the closure of the Ojibwe Correctional Facility on the community when the facility was closed last August. MDOC Public Information Officer Chris Gotts acknowledged that an economic study was not conducted, but one was fully considered as the state took data and information from previous audits in making its decision. Maradisco Township Supervisor Richard Bouvette said the community was pleased to finally get the chance to speak to someone in authority, and that even though the facility is already closed, this is just the beginning of the fight for the community. And Customs and Border Protection agents intercepted almost $13 million worth of methamphetamines inside a truck carrying frozen strawberries as it crossed into the U.S. from Mexico. The agency said yesterday that officers working at the FAR Reynosa International Bridge Cargo Facility in Texas used imaging equipment and drug dogs to inspect the truck this past Saturday. Officers discovered 350 packages concealed within the trailer and seized over 900 pounds of meth. The truck driver was arrested and turned over to Border Patrol agents.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has blocked the sale of an old prison, which would be converted into a privately run illegal immigration detention center. The $35 million facility was going to be used to house immigrants detained by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement who haven't been charged with or convicted of criminal offenses. A spokesperson for the governor said her main concern for blocking the sale was that parents would be separated from their children. The facility would have been able to house around 500 people and would employ close to 300 employees. And Attorney General Donna Nessel says Michigan has joined the list of states suing President Trump for declaring a state of emergency to fund a border wall. California started the lawsuit saying that it and 16 states see this as an abuse of power. Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, and Virginia have all joined the lawsuit as well. The national emergency would allow President Trump to pull funding from other areas to add to the wall's funding. And after the break, we will have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
On Secrets of the Dead, evil despot, ruthless killer, deranged leader. His name is synonymous with cruelty and unchecked power. Nero. But what if history got it wrong?
Is it possible that Nero was also a victim, or even the victim?
A forensic profiler takes the case to find out the truth about the infamous Roman emperor. The Nero Files on Secrets of the Dead.
Tonight at 10 and Monday afternoon at 2.
And welcome back. Microsoft has detected a hacking group targeting European democratic institutions, including think tanks and nonprofit groups, ahead of highly anticipated European Union parliamentary elections this coming May. Microsoft said yesterday that a group called Strontium targeted email accounts for more than 100 people in 6 European countries, working for the German Council on Foreign Relations, the Aspen Institutes in Europe, and the German Marshall Fund. Microsoft said in a blog post that it is continuing to investigate, but is confident the attacks originated from Strontium, a group that U.S. authorities have previously linked to Russia's main intelligence agency, known as the GRU. And the president is firing back at a news report that he tried to put someone loyal to him in charge of the investigation into his former lawyer and self-described fixer, Michael Cohen. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
President Trump categorically denies claims he tried to install an ally to oversee the investigation of his former lawyer, Michael Cohen.
I don't know who gave you that. That's more fake news.
The New York Times reported the president asked then acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker to put Jeffrey Berman, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York and a President Trump loyalist, in charge of the Cohen case. Whitaker told the president Mr. Berman had already recused himself from the investigation and could not head the probe.
There's a lot of fake news out there. No, I didn't.
The president tweeted this morning, the New York Times reporting is false. They are a true enemy of the people. The investigation into Michael Cohen's business practices eventually led the lawyer to flip. He has now provided testimony about his dealings with President Trump to special counsel Robert Mueller's team. Cohen pleaded guilty to campaign finance violations and lying to Congress about a proposed Trump Tower project in Moscow. He's been sentenced to 3 years in prison. Cohen is scheduled to testify again before he reports to prison in March. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
A convoy of trucks carrying hundreds of men, women, and children left the last enclave held by Islamic State militants in eastern Syria earlier today. This could signal a potential end to the standoff that went on all last week. The tiny enclave is the last area held by the extremist group, which used to hold vast amounts of territory across the Middle East. Few believe the group will fully be disbanded, as they still inspire terror attacks in countries all across the world. Nearly 20,000 people evacuated out of the area before militants closed off the roads, halting progress. And 23-year-old Patrick Frazee allegedly blindfolded his fiancée, 29-year-old Kelsey Berreth, before beating her to death. Investigators revealed the dramatic details in testimony yesterday. Jamie Yuccas was in the courtroom in Cripple Creek, Colorado.
Patrick Frazee showed no emotion Tuesday as prosecutors presented stunning evidence of how he allegedly murdered the mother of his 1-year-old daughter. 2 investigators recounted what 32-year-old Crystal Jean Lee Kinney told them, including that she had a romantic relationship with Frazee and that he confessed to killing Kelsey Berreth at her home on Thanksgiving.
Crystal then tells us Patrick kills Kelsey in a horrific manner.
Kenny told police that Frazee convinced Berreth to wrap a sweater around her head and guessed the scent of candles. He then beat Berreth to death with a baseball bat.
After he has put Kelsey in a black plastic tote, calls Crystal to come out and help him clean up.
Kenny left her home in Idaho and drove to Berreth's house to clean up almost 2 days later.
When she walks into Kelsey's condo, the scene is horrific. There's blood everywhere.
10 days after her alleged murder, it was Berreth's brother who spotted blood and called investigators. Kenny testified she watched as Frazee burned Berreth's remains at his home. Kenny said initially Frazee asked her to kill the 29-year-old mother 3 times, including by poisoning her coffee. Earlier this month, Kenny pleaded guilty to tampering with evidence in the case. Kenny's close friend, Michelle Stein, told us Kenny feared for her life.
She had very, very good reasoning for whatever it is she may or may not have done.
A motive for the murder has not been disclosed, but a civil suit by Berreth's parents indicate they believe it could have been because of a custody issue. Frazee has not entered a plea. His arraignment is set for April. Jamie Yuccas, CBS News, Cripple Creek, Colorado.
And don't touch that dial. After the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports.
Oh, oh no.
Big shout outs to Anthony.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. This week on UTR, it's our first ever Golf Ganza, where we play some golf Michigan style. We'll go to 4 awesome clubs and show you why our great state is the best place to golf in the galaxy. So get ready to explore the cool courses that make Michigan a great place to putt.
Thursday at 9:30, Friday at 5, and Saturday night at 10:30.
Hi, and welcome back to Public Eye News Weather. Behind me is a snowy NMU campus, and our current conditions are, it is snow. The temperature is at 24 degrees, winds east-southeast at 11 miles an hour, barometric pressure at 29.99 and falling. Looking towards tonight, we're also going to be looking at some more snow, the low of 20, winds southwest at 10 miles an hour. Looking towards tomorrow, is mostly cloudy, the high of 32, and winds west-northwest at 10 miles an hour. Taking a look across our snowy and cloudy UP, starting at Sault Ste. Marie at 25, Manistee 24, Escanaba 25, Menominee 27, moving over to Iron Mountain at 24, Ironwood 24 also, Hone at 25 and cloudy, and our beautiful Marquette at 24. And then looking into our week ahead, we are looking into Friday, the high of 35, the low of 24, and mostly cloudy. Saturday, the high of 34, the low of 28, and AM snow showers. Sunday, the high of 30, the low of 8, and snow. Grant, we might have a little bit more snow and clouds here, but here you have a story of a star that's shining bright.
That I do. NMU senior basketball star Naba Eccles was named GLIAC Player of the Week for the 3rd time this season, averaging 24 points. On Saturday, NMU played against Lake Superior State University, where Eccles totaled 22 points, along with 3 assists and 3 steals, leading to a Wildcat victory of 73-68. Eccles joins fellow senior Isaiah Johnson with multiple GLIAC Player of the Week awards. The Wildcats will visit Grand Valley State University on Thursday before taking on Davenport University on Saturday. And another NMU senior, Darby Youngstorm, has also been named GLIAC Player of the Week for the 2nd time this season after helping the NMU women's basketball team win 2 games. Youngstorm led the team with 20 points per game and was 2nd on the team with a 5.5 rebounds per game. In a 70-66 double overtime victory at Ferris State University, she scored a career high of 25 points on 10-15 shooting. Youngstorm is now only 35 points away from becoming the 26th player to reach 1,000 points. And to the last of the NMU sports news for the week, the Nordic skiing team captured 2 CCSA championships, winning all 4 races among college skiers. The Nordic team defeated the entire field for the men's 20K Classic and women's 5K Freestyle. Junior Zach Ketterston captured the 20K Men's Classic, winning with a time of 44.08. Freshman Abigail Jarzin led all college skiers and was 5th in the full field with a time of 21.17 in the women's 15K Classic. It's a story about good times happening for NMU sports. I hear you have a good story for families.
I got a real wholesome story for you here, Grant. A family in California has been reunited with their lost dog, which went missing last year during a campfire. Their dog, Kingston, had jumped out of their truck as they went to their home, but they never lost hope that he was alive despite the California wildfires. After posting flyers and contacting shelters, they got a call that a rescue volunteer had found Kingston on Sunday. Kingston is thought to have lived off of skunks while he was lost because he had hunted them before and he smelled of skunk when he was rescued. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for joining us in this edition of Public Eye News, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Arden Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.